Hello and welcome to Urban Green, where we spotlight South Sound environmental efforts and showcase different ways to get involved in sustainable living practices. I'm your host, Stacey Ellifrit. In this springtime edition, we're starting off with an urban learning segment that gives the ins and outs of preventing stormwater pollution.
Stormwater is rain or snow melt and runs over hard surfaces such as roofs, streets, and sidewalks, and into local bodies of water or into catch basins, where it then flows directly into the Puget Sound. As this water flows, it picks up many different pollutants along the way.
There are so many causes for stormwater pollution, and that's because, as I said before, stormwater runs over all of our hard surfaces. So anything that lands on those hard surfaces, like brake dust, oil from car vehicles, you wash your car on the street or in your driveway or even your lawn, because here in Tacoma, our lawns are more or less considered hard surfaces. We have this major clay layer that prevents things from really kind of absorbing into the grass. It picks up all of that pollution, dog waste, pet waste. You have like an open container that has chemicals in it. Anything that's on the ground, it can pick up and carry right to our water bodies and straight to Puget Sound.
Luckily, there are some simple things the community can do to help prevent stormwater pollution.
Using yard care techniques like compost and reducing the amount of fertilizers you use, picking up trash and making sure your trash can and your dumpster lid is closed so you prevent rain from getting in there and washing out any chemicals or any garbage or nutrients that might be in that can. Making sure your vehicle is maintained and not leaking oil.
When seeing pollution flowing in stormwater, it's important to know how to report it.
Stormwater pollution is really easy to report here in the state of Tacoma. We have a great call line, Tacoma First 311. You can either call it or you can download the app and use it on your phone, and it has a section for reporting spills. So you're looking for anything that might be going into a catch basin, or sometimes we see like streaks of paint that may be spilt off a truck, or even sometimes if you see an empty container of oil, or any obvious signs of something draining into the catch basin on the side of the road that looks odd should be reported.
What people may not realize is that in Tacoma, there are separated wastewater and stormwater systems.
So when you flush your toilet or take a shower or do the dishes, that water is piped through underground pipes to our wastewater treatment plant, where it is treated before it is released to Puget Sound. Our stormwater, however, is not. So if it enters a catch basin here, it will go straight to Puget Sound.
When pollution enters local bodies of water, not only can it affect our beautiful natural surroundings, it can also be very harmful to our aquatic ecosystem.
Here in Puget Sound, we have amazing population of salmon and our southern resident killer whales and a host of marine mammals and seabirds. And by preventing stormwater pollution, we're helping to protect those animals.
Remember, there are easy ways to help protect these animals and the environment. Doing simple things from fixing car oil leaks, using natural yard care, picking up pet waste, and more can help reduce the impact on stormwater pollution.
To find out about all the different ways you can help prevent stormwater pollution, visit the city site. Up next, the Urban Tabletop segment will take us to Metro Parks Tacoma's Mobile Teaching Kitchen. It's here that Chef Jason Coleman will demonstrate how to make a warm and comforting batch of chicken noodle soup.
My name is Jason Coleman and I am the chef for Metro Parks Tacoma. Today we're going to be making chicken noodle soup, and it's a very simple recipe, very few ingredients to it, but it's really, really tasty. So let's get started. The ingredients you're going to need are chicken, obviously, carrots, celery, onion, a little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit of basil, some garlic. Here we go. First thing you're going to want to do is cut up your vegetables. Try to cut your vegetables in even pieces so that everything cooks about the same. Since it's soup, rustic is good, so they don't have to necessarily be exactly even, but as even as you can get them, it's always good. Let's fire up. We're going to add a little bit of oil to our pan. Get that nice and hot. Once the pan is warm, we're going to add the chicken to the pan. I like to bring my chicken in early just to let it cook. Gives the soup a little better flavor. To the pan, we're going to add our vegetables. Throw in a touch of garlic. Add just a pinch of salt. A little bit of black pepper. Once my vegetables have started to soften, I'm going to add my chicken stock. You can make homemade chicken stock or you can buy canned stock. Either one will work. When that starts to come to a boil, you want to add your egg noodles. If you're adding your noodles directly to the soup, be very careful that you don't add too many because the noodles will take up a lot of your stock. If that happens, you can simply add a little bit more chicken stock to it. Let that cook. In about 12 minutes, you'll have soup. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Jason Coleman. This is from Metro Parks Tacoma. Thank you very much. Bon appetit.
To join Metro Parks Tacoma for a virtual cooking class held at their mobile teaching kitchen, visit their website. After the break, we'll learn all about starting the journey to zero waste living. But first, the Urban Quick Tip will demonstrate how to make a greener toilet bowl cleaner. Welcome back. Next up, we visit with Christina Jarvis, founder and owner of a Drop in the Ocean shop. Christina will share some simple steps on starting a plastic-free, low-waste or zero-waste lifestyle.
The concept of plastic-free, low-waste or zero-waste living all have their nuances, but each shares a focus on waste prevention. Learning about incorporating these changes into your lifestyle can be intimidating. But the best bet is to go slow and make choices that are right for you.
The concept of zero waste is to create a circular economy where products are designed with the end of their life in mind so they can continue to be reused or repurposed and never end up in a landfill. That is the overarching goal of zero waste living, but it looks very different for individual people.
Low waste and zero waste living are similar concepts, but living low waste can feel more accessible to those making these changes. Plastic-free living is considered a stepping stone towards low waste or zero waste living. However you begin to eliminate waste and single-use plastic from your life, starting a journey on any of these paths can look different for everyone.
I really identified with the idea that there are small things that anybody can do from the comfort of their own home that's going to have a positive impact on the planet. And I kind of shifted towards a minimalist lifestyle as well. So I started just consuming less, buying less. So I was saving money. It streamlined my life in many ways. It helped me become more organized and eat healthier. I wasn't buying packaged foods anymore. And so I had to cook at home more.
Changes can come through small, tangible steps, but some common misconceptions may come up along the way.
The biggest misconception is that sustainable living is difficult. There are some things that are more difficult, but for the most part, it's really easy because if we think about where our trash is coming from, most of our trash is probably coming from the kitchen and from the bathroom. One of the easiest ways to reduce your waste is simply to look at what you're about to run out of. If you're almost out of shampoo, you can say, okay, I can either go to the grocery store and buy another plastic bottle of shampoo, or I can get a shampoo bar that is a solid bar of soap without any packaging, or I can get a refillable bottle of shampoo, or find a local refill shop that will refill bottles for me.
Over time, as items slowly start to get switched out to a more sustainable alternative, these changes eventually start to become part of a routine.
Getting started can be difficult because sometimes you just don't know where to start because there's so many different things. So I always tell people just start with a waste audit, and we have a template on our website for how to do a waste audit so that you can be more aware of what you're throwing away, and then just when you need to replace those things, look for a different alternative.
One thing you can consider as part of a personal waste audit is to start keeping a week-long tally of the items you're throwing away.
Let's say you discover that you are throwing away 10 paper towels in a week or something like that, right? Then you know, like, okay, if I am throwing away 10 paper towels every week, then over a course of a year, that's over 500 paper towels. What can I do instead? And it really helps to personalize the journey because I always say there's no one way to go zero waste. Really finding those ways to tailor it to your own lifestyle is a really important piece.
Another important piece is being creative and finding other uses for items that would otherwise go to waste.
There are things that we throw away that we don't really need to be throwing away or that can have another use. I have some friends that make fun of me, but every time that we have like a holiday that is usually centered around like cookouts, like Labor Day, Memorial Day, I always tell people, don't throw out the bags that your hot dog buns came in, for example. You can use those as trash bags. Choosing to get your bills in your email instead of in the mail, it saves a lot of paper.
The 6 R's of zero waste is a good guide for anyone starting a journey to reducing waste.
The 6 R's are rethink, refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot or compost. The top one, rethink, is just being aware and asking questions, noticing something and saying, why is it being done this way? Can it be done differently? Can it be done better? Can it be done more efficiently? Can it be done with less waste? And maybe there's not a solution right then, but just becoming aware of it is a really good place to start because we can't really do anything else if we're not first aware of it.
For more information on A Drop in the Ocean and to view their waste audit, visit the shop's website. Up next is the Urban How-To. This do-it-yourself segment will give a closer look at taking care of garden herbs.
My name is Jenny, and we will be talking about how to harvest and dry preserve your herbs that you've been growing all summer long. We're going to go over hardwood herbs and then the soft body herbs. The hardwood herbs, they are generally our perennials, and perennial meaning that they are going to keep coming back every year. The soft body, those are generally going to be your annuals, and annuals meaning is they're going to be here just for the season, or you can also grow them inside. So when you're looking at your herbs, and we'll start with the hard body herbs, you're going to be taking a whole stalk. So let's start with this rosemary. You want as long a piece as possible when you're harvesting. You're going to use a very sharp implement, okay? So you can use sharp scissors. I have some pruning shears here. Any sharp implement that's going to give you a nice clean cut at the base. So if you look at the rosemary here, you'll see that there is the full stalk, and then there's some offshoots there. Now I'm going to pick up the mint as well because it's the same idea. Now the mint has this really long shoot, and then there's offshoots. You want to trim right before any of those offshoots. It can be long or short. I could come all the way back to this point here, or I could cut here. So for the purposes of the rosemary, I've got the tender new growth. I'm going to trim right here. And then this is the part, this tender new growth is the part that you're going to use. All of the new growth has the most flavor. All of the oils are very concentrated. I'm going to move to soft body herbs. You want to harvest them before they bolt. Now, bolting is when I'm going to use this cilantro here as an example. The stem here is very hard. It's very woody, and you can see that it's creating flowers. All of the soft body plants will bolt. They will get a flower of some sort. Some will get this woody stem that grows from the center of the plant. And once it starts to bolt, you know you've got to act quickly, because once these flower, you can see this cilantro is starting to flower. It changes the flavor of the herb itself. It's going to make the herb bitter. It can turn, it tastes really unpleasant. It's like that with all of them. If you're familiar with basil, basil also does that. It doesn't bolt, but basil will form a flower head at the top. Now basil's really fun because you can pinch it back, pinch that flower off, and you'll still get that sweet taste of the leaves, and the leaves won't turn bitter and a little bit acidic. You can see that there are little tiny babies there. So if I pinch it here, I've got 2 more branches, 2 more stems that are going to start. One of the methods that I really like to use for drying herbs is sticking them in the refrigerator. So I place 2 paper towels down, so just to help, whisk away any moisture. And like with the mint, it works beautifully. They don't get oxidized at all. Pretend this is nice and dry and clean, no bugs. And I'm going to place it in the refrigerator. Don't place it in the crisper, because the crisper is where you want to keep things a little bit moist. So you're just going to place it in the body of the refrigerator in between two paper towels, and in about a week you have dried mint leaves. It's kind of outstanding. Traditionally, people have seen herbs hung upside down in bunches to dry. Totally easy, acceptable way to do that. There is a caveat though. If you don't cover them, they're gonna get full of dust. If you have any kind of fabric or muslin, just to keep the dust off. And then you're gonna store everything, pop them off like that, all the way down, use your fingers. You're gonna store them in an airtight container. They are going to last somewhere between 6 months to a year, give or take. The flavor stays intense up to about 6 months. After that, of course, the leaves and the flavor will degrade, the oils start to break down. You can freeze them as well. So if you don't want to dry your herb, you've washed it, it has no moisture left, all the water's gone, you can take your herbs and cut them into smaller sections, fresher, okay? Doesn't have to be dried. Not more than maybe 1 inch, 1/2 inch. put them in ice cube trays. You can also do combinations. So say I wanted to do rosemary and sage. I'm feeling like this is a very kind of a festive flavor. I'm just gonna use these pruners here. You just mix them up, put them into your ice cube tray, and then add your favorite oil. Avocado oil, grapeseed oil, olive oil, any kind of oil you want. Let them freeze all the way nice and solid. And then you can, once they're completely frozen, then you can put them in a Ziploc bag, a freezer bag in the refrigerator, or put them in a container in the refrigerator. And then now they're ready to use. Other herbs that you can dry, but they have plant matter, but you dry the root system. Echinacea is super, super popular. Now echinacea is also called coneflower, okay? You're not gonna use the flower or the petals. What you're gonna use is you're gonna use the root system. It's a perennial also, comes back every year. But it's people use it for medicinal purposes. They dry this root all of the time. You're gonna wanna plant this in your yard, let it get, see if you can see, this is a fairly small plant, so let it get to be 3 times the size. Because what you'll do is you're gonna cut into that root system, wash the roots, dry them just like we would with the leaves, and then you'll slice them into smaller pieces, and then you can dry the root out of the echinacea and then grind it down or chop it up and put it in tea and use it when you have a cold or something. So not all drying herbs are going to be using that soft body or the hard body. So this is just a fun one to add for those of you who want to use echinacea in your medicine cabinet as well.
These how-tos were created in partnership with the EnviroHouse Free Workshop series, designed to support healthy, sustainable homes and gardens. For a full listing of online workshops, check out the city site. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Urban Green. I'm Stacey Ellifrit, leaving you with more ways to safely engage in sustainable practices that are right for your lifestyle.